Hi, we said we thought the market would be weak last week, and sure enough, it was pretty bad. In fact, it was the Monday that was the really rough day. But it now feels like everyone's split between being either bullish and things saying that the bears are stupid and being super bearish, which is particularly a lot of the strategists are very bearish on the market. So to me, it sort of feels like the market is balanced between those two camps, and I don't see it necessarily having a huge move either way. Oil's similar. We're sort of range bound at the moment. You've got very rapid rising inventories of crude here in the US, and the old, head scratcher of what's going on in China. Russia continues to successfully push oil long distances, albeit into the market. Now, the expectation over the course of the year is China gets stronger and Russia gets weaker, and that's why people get very bullish on the second half of the year. That's a consensus call, actually. In fact, the IEA, without allowing for higher OPEC production, has the market undersupplied by 3 million barrels a day by Q4, believe it or not, which is huge. So essentially what we're doing here is treading water a bit at what is typically a lullish time of year, February, especially when it's a warm winter. And then we've got the expectation essentially that the second half will be great. We've got some specific stuff, good results from Cosmos today. I was happy to see that. We've got Oxy after the market tonight. We've got the Chevron analyst meeting tomorrow. And then, of course, there's a major Tesla analyst meeting coming up as well, which will be very interesting. So plenty of stuff out there this week on the micro front. People kind of want to buy natural gas stocks here. You can see it in the action. Essentially, expectations were extremely negative going into the nat gas results after Devon reported what was considered to be a surprisingly bad result. Essentially, more capex, less oil volumes. And then with expectations very low, EQT and Coterra and others, there'll be Range reporting today. They all basically, we don't know about Range yet, but essentially those gas names reported okay results, and as a result they've had a bit of a relief rally going on, and there isn't enough in oil at the moment to get people excited, especially as these E&Ps are really struggling to produce oil growth. They're becoming gassier and gassier, so they've become homogenized in terms of their balance sheets, and now they're becoming homogenized in terms of their product. There are some differentiated names, of course. You have Hess and Exxon, for example, with their Guyana assets. And so for Chevron, it's really a question of, are they one mega area short compared to Exxon, because they don't have Guyana and they've got a huge position in Kazakhstan, which looks very risky. I don't think they're necessarily going to do anything about that with oil at 85. I think if oil goes to 40, they'll buy something. Could be Cosmos for that matter. But in the meantime, I think the major announcement at this meeting tomorrow will be a $20 billion buyback for this year. If you recall, they put together an authorization of $75 billion, but that was over several years. At the moment, they're running with guidance of $15 billion for this year. I think they'll go to 20, which will be fairly positive for the stock, which actually has performed poorly this year so far. It's been pretty poor performer, Chevron, so they really need to crank that buyback to try and recover some lost ground. We don't see the issues that we're seeing at Conoco, who also have an analyst meeting coming up in April, where they've really bitten off 4 mega projects simultaneously at Conoco, which worries us greatly. Chevron is, if anything, more at the inflection point, particularly in Kazakhstan, where over the next year or so, we should see volumes beginning to grow and capex falling. So the stock's in pretty good shape. It's just not exciting anyone at the moment, especially as people really like Exxon here with its high refining leverage and its Guyana position. Okay, have a great week.